The weekend dawns over the 2023 TruBank Des Moines Challenge presented by Discraft. You're watching Tournament Central on the Disc Golf Network. I'm Grant Zellner alongside a man so insightful he was promoted to the Thanksgiving adult table at the age of 3. Brian Earhart. You are looking skyward in Indianola because weather is on the horizon and fireworks are on the scorecard with Paige Pierce and Kristin Tattar leading the way today. Brian, first things first, though, take a look over your shoulder at the skies. What are you seeing?
Well, again, we just have to brief the viewers here on our weather policy. If lightning strikes within 12 miles of the course, we have to delay the round by 30 minutes, and we will not start any sooner than 30 minutes after the last lightning strike. If lightning strikes again, the timer resets. And this is now a kind of a strict policy because we have to keep not only the players, but now the hundreds to thousands of spectators that come out here to watch disc golf this week. We need to give sufficient time for people to get to shelter. The current closest system of bad weather is about 20 miles away. That's the closest lightning. It seems to be potentially dissipating, but then there's something really bad coming our way about 70 miles away. We'll just have to hope for the best in this situation. Hopefully we have a full day of disc golf.
It looks like we will have weather at some point throughout the day. It also, though, looks like we will have breaks in the weather throughout the day, so we'll have to keep things very, very tightly controlled here on the Disc Golf Network, and we'll bring you, the viewer, all the information that you need to know to stay updated for when rounds will restart or what will happen if rounds have to be shortened for one reason or another due to weather. All of that information will be yours for the taking right here on the Disc Golf Network. I want to make sure I give credit to both of our co-leaders. While Paige Pierce will be playing from the lead card with Kristin Tattar actually tied with Emily Beach at the top of the field. We're going to hear from both of those players right now and what they said after their rounds yesterday, starting with Kristin Tattar.
I think overall feeling was good. I made a couple of mistakes here and there. But it wasn't like anything too bad. I wish I could take back my throw on the island hole, throw it a little harder, but except that, I think it's looking good.
Is 7 under feeling like a pretty comfortable round, or do you feel like there's quite a few strokes that you left out there?
I think there are a lot more birdies out there, but if the wind picks up or if there's any rain, it's going to be tough to birdie. So I think it's more important to just keep it in bounds and try to make all the putts if you have a look, and yeah.
Kristin Tattar's game on display yesterday, using all of the shots in her arsenal to get around this challenging and a lot more varied in terms of topography course here at Pickard Park, Brian.
Yeah, well, what I think is interesting is the way she speaks about her game. After the first round, when I spoke to her, she just said, you know what, hole 5 was something I wish I got back. All I need to do is just throw it a little bit harder. There's no negative self-talk. There's no subjective labeling of anything that she's doing out there on the course. She's sending a clear message to her body to just make a correction on the next round, and there's a lot of players that can take a lesson or two from that. It's tough to implement that mindset, but right now it seems like she has a clear head. Most of the mistakes she's admitted to making are just due to focus. So if she can laser focus today, double digits is no problem, especially if we have clear weather.
Emily Beach also showing a lot of diversity in her game. Emily, of course, the powerful left-hander from the windswept fields of Oklahoma, going to her right hand at times on this course, which is, of course, really, really interesting to see. We heard from Emily after her round as well.
I feel good. My game feels solid. Like last year, I found myself laying off my drives a lot more, laying up a lot more shots, but like on hole 2, I went for it a lot more and like got past the tree line. Hole 3, I went for it. Usually I'd lay that up. Hole 4, I would usually lay up. So just during practice, I realized like I can actually get to some of these and I should take advantage of my distance or whatever. And I think it worked out. Like from last week, I just had some form issues, and I don't know, everything was coming out early and hyzer, and then worked on it a little bit this week, and now I'm back to throwing more flat and just get a little more pop on my discs, and then putting too. I practiced putted for like an hour yesterday, and I was like, okay, much better.
Brian, Emily continues to play herself onto featured card coverage, and I think it's something that she is beginning to get more comfortable with. The crowds, the cameras, the interviews, all of the things that go with being a top-level competitor. What are you seeing in her game?
She spoke about it. She said her confidence is now starting to rise, and it's starting to match the physical skill set that she already brought to the table. And as a lefty, like I had said yesterday, you're kind of on your own out here. You have to devise a game plan on a course that's a mirror image to the right-handed players, and just commit and trust yourself. And it's hard to do that sometimes when you watch players playing the course differently. But I love that she's going to the righty backhand. I think, number one, it's great as an alternative to the sidearm because it balances out strain on the left and right side. It takes a little bit of stress off that left arm. And I hope that more players begin to start utilizing this. We saw Kat Mertz go to it early on. We've seen Jessica Weiss throw the lefty in the past. Haley King has mentioned that she has a good backhand on the left-handed side as well. I think that's just a really cool element that we're starting to see. But really, to win on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, to catch Kristen Tatar this season, you're going to have to play aggressive, and you're going to have to birdie those holes that maybe previously you didn't think you could.
Well, one player known for playing aggressive and usually choosing the more aggressive option if she's faced with several, Paige Pierce. Paige Pierce playing from the lead card along with Emily and Kristen. We will hear from Paige after this break on the Disc Golf Network.
One thing we all love about disc golf is it's a lifetime sport. Whether you play pro, am, juniors, or senior grandmasters, we all want to play this sport as much as we want and for as long as we want. This can introduce wear over time, potentially hindering your ability to continue playing. A cart reduces the cumulative stress on your body that comes with repetitive motions such as reaching down and lifting. This will help keep you on the course, maximizing your athletic potential and playing your best.
You're watching Tournament Central on the Disc Golf Network. Grant Zellner and Brian Earhart talking about the players that will be leading the way today. Everyone in pursuit of that lead card, which will feature Paige Pierce coming off of a bit of a break. And she looks rested and she looks hungry. Brian, what are you seeing?
I'm seeing some long putts go in the basket, Grant. She putted fantastic from Circle 2, hit a couple of really clutch birdie putts down the stretch. And the disc is popping out of her hand right now. I think she had some backhand timing issues this season. I just, from the outside, was noticing maybe the feet moving in one direction, the upper body wanting to move in another direction, and the timing just wasn't quite crisp. This week, she is throwing absolute bombs off the tee, and her touch looks great, too. I mean, we're seeing Paige Pierce kind of at that realm that we're used to seeing her in. I mean, she has 2 wins already this season. Sometimes we kind of discount that and forget about it, which is funny. I mean, she's playing great disc golf and has really all year, maybe not to her standards that she's set over the past decade or so, but Paige is here to play, and yeah, she's really excited to be out here. She's mentioned to me even off camera now that the killer instinct and desire to compete day in and day out is kind of waning, and it comes and goes in swings, and she said this week she can't wait to be out here competing and putting up good numbers out here at this course. I think she really enjoys it out here.
We had a chance to hear from Paige in her own words after round number 1.
You know, I had some moments of frustration, but I also had some moments of like pure like passion and joy. Like, you know, I had some shots where I was like, really, you just airballed right now, or like, you know, like a couple just approaches or something like that. But like I also had some like big putts go in, or like my drive on hole, I think it's 6. I almost went OB deep, and I didn't even know that was possible. So like I had some awesome moments as well. So like everything in life balances, right? So take the good with the bad, and like just happy to be out here throwing, like trying to play golf, but still being aggressive. Like, you know, sometimes like, you know, I understand commentators, media, they want to make a storyline, and it's like, hey, why did you run that putt? That was silly. Or, oh, you didn't go for that. And it's like, I'm going to stop thinking about that and just go for the shots that I think I'm capable of, and don't worry about what people say, because for me, the most fun golf is running those putts. And so like, for example, hole 3, that was probably a putt where I maybe shouldn't have ran it, but that's what I meant by no messing around. Like, I can make that putt, so I'm going to try. And maybe I miss, but hey, like, it's just a missed putt. It's not a broken back or something, you know?
Paige certainly playing in attack mode, overcoming a couple of blemishes on the card yesterday. No player in the field, Brian, managed to get through unscathed. At least one bogey on everybody's card. Paige recovering perhaps better than most.
I mean, what's interesting is she shot a 600 par, double bogeying the 12th, which is not that long of a hole. I mean, I think she has a lot of room to grow out here, and I love that she's saying that she's trying to approach the game the way that we remember her approaching the game. I mean, she ran a putt on hole 10 for eagle that was not an optimal play, so to speak, but she's doing it because she's locked and loaded, and she wants to put up these hot numbers, and she doesn't care what happens if she misses. So she made some great comebackers because of that exact same mindset. So I think Paige is going to be exciting to watch this week, and I think her play style contrasting with Kristen's is going to be really awesome to watch this week, especially if we can get both of them at their best.
4 contrasting play styles there on the lead card. The 4th player today, Macy Valadez. A lot of people may not be familiar with Macy's game. Brian, how would you sum up the way that Macy goes about playing this game?
Macy is an athlete. She is just a pure athlete. She's got a huge sidearm. She's got a huge backhand. She's got great touch. She plays a really solid style of disc golf, and I think the consistency is just the one thing that she's mentioned she needs to get better at, and that just comes with time. She's still very young, but her ceiling is extremely high. We watched her shoot really well at the Music City Open, almost take that one down. And again, if you watch her play, you wonder why she's not top 5 in the world at this point, because her skill set is so deep. I think at the end of the day, it's just decision-making and being able to commit to those decisions and not make any of the simple mistakes out there on the course.
Well, while we await the beginning of this FPO elite level round of disc golf, another elite level round of FPO disc golf already in the books for today at the Krokull Open in Norway. We'll have highlights after this on the Disc Golf Network.
One of my favorite partnerships with Discraft is the Paul Macbeth molds. The Athena specifically has just been a really fun one because it's a disc that I've been looking forward to. It's definitely a staple in my bag. It sits right between my Undertakers and my Onyx. A little bit blunt nose so it can fight and handle the wind, it can handle some torque, and it's just one that I can throw at all powers. That's what I really like about it. I'm just glad that we're able to make this disc, have it in hand, and have it as a stock disc that anyone can get.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
Already in the books, round 2 of the Krokol Open from Norway. FPO action, Rachel Turton, even par on the round yesterday. Started today in second place, but a +6 knocks Rachel down off the lead card. Sophie Bjork maintaining her tie for second, going 2 under par today. This her drive on the challenging 17th. Everybody chasing silver. Saarinen increasing her lead. 6 under par for round number 2 takes her to a 7-stroke lead entering tomorrow's final round. Continuing coverage of the European Tour on the Disc Golf Network, including remaining rounds of the Krokol Open. MPO coverage coming up on the Disc Golf Network, and of course tomorrow's final rounds for both divisions. Upcoming coverage throughout the month of July into August as well. Even the Andalusia Open to wrap up the Euro Turo season. All of that available to you on the Disc Golf Network. Next week, a PDGA Major kicks off in Peoria, Illinois. The Junior and Amateur Disc Golf World Championships. You're going to want to take note of all of the past winners because these are the future of disc golf. Look at those past winners, players that we're seeing this week on the professional tour. There will be post-produced coverage on the PDGA's YouTube page of both junior and the MA1 and FA1 divisions. You will get a chance to see players who will no doubt be making a career out of disc golf. Again, all of that starts next Tuesday. Later on this afternoon, though, the MPO field takes on Pickard Park. We will preview that action coming up after this break. Stay tuned.
It's always so exciting when we get new plastics of the Passion, but I always end up falling back on the stock ones. And I like to say its closest counterpart is the Buzz. I think my absolute favorite way to throw it is dead straight and just watch the beauty of a straight flight. They've become a staple in the Discraft lineup and also in people's bags, and to know that people everywhere are enjoying the Passion as much as I am. That's just really exciting for me.
Join the Paul Macbeth Foundation's Builders Club to help bring sustainable disc golf experiences to people and communities around the world. For a small monthly donation, you can help us make a real impact. Your donation will go directly to making a difference. By becoming a monthly subscriber, you'll also receive exclusive updates on our work, special offers, and discounts. So join us today and make a difference with the Paul Macbeth Foundation. Together we can make a big impact, one small donation at a time.
Thanks for joining us on Tournament Central as we get ready for the Saturday moving day at the 2023 TruBank Des Moines Challenge presented by Discraft. Looking ahead to this afternoon's round, Brian, we've got a couple of G-men at the top, both from Iowa, Gannon Burr and Gavin Babcock. We've talked coming into this event about Iowa and the fact that it has produced historically some top-level disc golfers, and this seems to emphasize the point in Gannon and Gavin leading the way.
Park than anybody in this entire field. So to see him shoot the 13 under probably feels average for him. I'm sure he's gone real low on this course in the past. And Gavin Babcock obviously living pretty close to this course as well. And I love listening to how Gannon was praising Gavin, saying his distance has come such a long way, his putting has come such a long way, and just celebrating how far he's come. Gavin Babcock reminds me of like a Luke Sampson type character, just one of those guys that hit the road. They weren't 10-20, 10-30 ready when they hit the road, but they put the work in, they put the time in to cut their teeth at some of these smaller tournaments, and now here they are consistently on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, putting up great numbers, and it's bringing in kind of a new generation of player. Gavin Babcock obviously being a previous wrestler in a past life and still continuing that training now to this day in the disc golf world, which can only serve you out here on the road. So I can't wait to see both of them kind of feed off each other today. And yeah, lots of Iowa talent, lots of Quad Cities talent as well, as we see Dawson Snelling living on the border of Illinois, Iowa, shooting a great round yesterday as well.
Let's take a moment and hear from our leaders.
Kind of rough start, missed like a short circle one putt on one little straddle, got two, didn't get 3 or 4, and then which I feel like those are definitely some scoreable holes, but yeah, luckily I played skins yesterday, shot like 12 down with a bogey, and so I was like, I'd just try to carry that into today, and game's feeling really good.
I've been on this like kind of month-long slump since OTB Open, where I've kind of just like maybe like a couple things happened from keeping me from shooting a really good round, and I feel like I play a lot better when I'm in like these like more lead card situations, and I just haven't been there. And that final round at DDO, I felt so lost, and I had no idea what to do this week. My backhand form had been causing me issues, so the last 4 or 5 days I've literally just been grinding backhand form. Kind of just out of nowhere, I just strung together like 5, 6, 7, turned into 8 birdies in a row, and then just a couple errant shots that I had 2 pars on the back 9, and other than that, just birdied out.
Well, with all due respect to Simon Lizotte, who will be on the lead card, there's another GB that we need to talk about who will be playing from the front today, Greg Barsby. Greg Barsby in the hunt. He's been around a long time, Brian.
He has, and I remember talking to Robert Burridge during the press conference, and he had mentioned something like, okay, well, if this season doesn't work out, maybe I'll go back and get a different job after this. It depends on how he does season to season. I think a lot of newer players are playing by that rule of thumb, but Greg Barsby has been out here highs and lows. He's battled through all sorts of adversity over the past 15 years or so, and really has set the standard in disc golf. And he's given a lot of players the blueprint of what it takes to make it out here on the road. He is a lifer, and he is someone that a lot of people are inspired by, and to have him shoot around out here and hear how grateful he was to still shoot hot out here was awesome to see.
Exciting, no doubt, for a lot of viewers who maybe came into the sport during the COVID years to get a chance to see a player like Greg Barsby, a major champion from years past, and sort of a player from maybe a slightly different era in disc golf. He's got a slightly different game, a little bit of a different style, and it's going to be a delight to see Greg navigate this course next to players that play perhaps what some would call a more modern game. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. When we get back, we will be minutes away from featured cards teeing off in the FPO division. We'll set the stage for you after this on the Disc Golf Network.
Most people just see a disc. At Discraft, we see over 40 years of innovation, driven by passion, consistency that inspires talent, built on a foundation designed for success. Over 4 decades of experience behind your first throw.
A look at the leaderboard where some of these leaders just now taking the course in the FPO division for Saturday's moving day at the 2023 TruBank Des Moines Challenge presented by Discraft. You see there in the mix, tied for fourth, playing from the chase card today, Holland Handley. We got a chance to catch up with Holland right after her opening round.
It's a little muggy, but I mean, honestly, this is just going to be life for the next 2.5 months or so, so may as well just settle in and get used to it. I threw the disc pretty well for most of the holes, but really the putt was what was on fire today. I had some really good bogey and par saves because I was just making everything. I think I missed like one inside the circle that wasn't a layup, so very happy with how that's looking. On 18, I mean, it was a good shot that just, it snagged the signs and didn't get a chance to come back in bounds, so I'm not too mad about that. I'll probably throw the same thing tomorrow, just keep it a little higher. And then, 16 was the other OB stroke, and that one was just a misfire off the tee. That kind of put me out of position, so I'm just trying to throw that better. And then the other one, I just threw it just a little too soft, so kind of hazard out OB, and there's really no reason for that. So same game plan, just execute those 3 shots a little better.
Brian, Holland Handley, one of several leading the charge from the chase card or even the third card. As we start the round today, more than 10 players within 3 of the leaders.
I mean, it sounds about right for how the 2023 season is going, Grant. I mean, Holland, one of those players that can easily take down a big tournament. Hasn't yet, but I feel like the moment she does, that confidence is going to surge through her, and it's going to be tough to beat her week in and week out. She mentioned to me yesterday that she had a forehand on 18 that just hit one of the sponsorship signs and stayed out of bounds. She said she was so close to getting that one back in bounds and saving more strokes. So I think there's a lot of room to grow for her out there. She said she had to save bogey a few times out there as well with solid putting. So if she can just clean up the drives, I mean, there you go, right up towards the top yet again, but easier said than done, obviously, out here at Pickard.
No doubt about it. Players that shot 5, 6, and 7 under par yesterday, Brian, talked about the fact that there was more out there to get, yet at the same time, nobody managed to be bogey-free yesterday. So I expect some serious movement both up and down the leaderboard today as long as we can play around the weather. So in our final moments before we throw things to the featured cards teeing off, let's talk one more time about the weather. The main thing of note, Brian, I think people need to know is it's the lightning that matters most. Rain, we can manage that. It's the lightning that we have to watch.
And again, if the players can complete 13 holes before sunset, doesn't matter what division, then it counts as a full round. If they cannot complete more than 13, then it's unfortunately going to be canceled, and it's only going to be a 2-round tournament for the whatever division gets that result. So that's what's happening right now. Again, we have to be strict with these calls because we have so many people out here, and we need to keep everyone safe. But fingers crossed, Grant, hopefully everything dissipates like this first wave seems to be dissipating.
Well, and I think that's an important point to know and something that we should credit the players for knowing that they need to strategize. The 13th could be their last hole of the day, and they know that going into the round. They know there's a possibility of holes 14 through 18 being wiped from the scorecard as if they never happened. So while we don't want that to happen, players are able, going into their round, to strategize and make decisions based on what could happen. And I think that's an important point to know moving forward as we battle with nature at times to get these rounds in. Brian, any quick final thoughts before we throw to the main broadcast?
Well, I hope the players are ready, and I hope they are mentally prepared for probably the unexpected today, Grant.
For Brian Earhart, I'm Grant Zellner. We'll see you after the round.